What's going on, everyone? It's Mike. It's John, back again from a hiatus of content. In all fairness, though, there hasn't been very much to talk about. So, we're back in pre-season today. There's rumours that a certain winger may be coming into Everton. There's more to talk about. So remember, we only do videos when there's stuff to talk about. And John is ready to talk. John, the players are back. Well, the majority of them, the ones that are on international duty. What's your thoughts?
Starting to feel a bit real now, isn't it? That the season's just around the corner. Our final season at Goodison Park starting to hit home now. It's good to see the lads back, and as you say, we've got stuff to talk about now. Transfer rumours have been quiet. A couple of them are starting to pick up. We have been linked with Philogene for quite a while, and there was rumours going round. It was a joint deal for him and Greed to go to Ipswich. Now rumours are coming out that Everton have agreed a fee with Hull for Philogene. Doesn't look like it's going to be a double deal for Ipswich, so it's down to Everton to get this deal done. Now, this is Everton for you. We've known this for a long, long time, for years gone by, that we're linked with a player. We put a bid in, apparently, but it drags on and on and on. And this is the problem Everton have got while the takeover's in process. We can't go out splashing all kinds of money. So I think transfers are going to take a while, and the deals have got to be structured correctly for when Dan Friedkin comes into the club. I think that's probably why we haven't pushed ahead and got the Philogene deal over the line. But while it's still not signed for Ipswich, and there's a chance we can get him, because listen, he's a player I'm excited about. And we spoke about this the other week on the video. He looks good. He looks direct. He's young talent. I think that's what Everton have got to start looking at now when they're bringing players in. We've done it with the lad from Villa, we're linked with Philogene as well. I think that's the way Everton is going to be run now. Run with young talent and sell them on in years to come for good price. And I think when you're looking to do deals like that, it do take a bit longer. And I think that's probably why Everton haven't got this over the line yet.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the transfer itself, rumours, different amounts of money have been mentioned, 16, 20. I mean, even Barca apparently were talking about 35. I mean, so I have no idea how much the fee is. All I do know is that this is a player that is versatile, is aggressive, is quick. It reminds me of a really good ball carrier, someone like Eze, for example, who is capable of beating a player, scoring a good goal, got a trick in his locker, and someone that, will excite the fans, someone that we've probably lacked for a long time. He was in the Aston Villa academy for a long time. I know Aston Villa didn't want to get rid of him. He went to Hull. He's had a great season at Hull. He scored, as we mentioned earlier, as mentioned in the other videos, he scored one of the goals of the season last season for Hull. He is a player that has got a lot in the locker, a lot to offer, and apparently he will track back as well. So he will put the yards in defensively as well. That is again a positive. The only thing I would say about this transfer, and it's not a negative, it's a positive, is it's the player, it's the clubs that have been in for him, and the fact that it's almost been quite a difficult. It's almost been difficult to stand out from Ipswich and Crystal Palace. Now, I can semi-accept it at Crystal Palace because they've got a good manager and they've got some exciting players. So I can understand why a young player who has seen players like Michael Elise and Eze go into that team and do well and develop and become great players. Adam Wharton's another good young example. Players that have been successful at Crystal Palace who have made the cut, etc. Mark Gay, all of these players, I can get why Crystal Palace is attractive as a club. But we've been in a race with Ipswich, and this is not a dig at Ipswich at all, by the way. This is not me digging out Ipswich before they've even started in the Premier League. But there's no way Everton should be in that conversation. And my point that I'm making is, I actually think if this was going to have happened, which I hope it does, of course, it actually should be further along than it is.
But on the flip side of that, he was linked with Barcelona. So,
Yeah.
we're sort of, we're fighting with. But if that was to be true, apparently the rumours were Barcelona only wanted him on loan. Then you hear the £35 million fees. The thing with Palace, they just sold Elite to Bayern Munich with a deal worth up to 50 million quid. So, are Palace looking at him to sort of replace Elite? Possibly, because as you've quite rightly said, with the players Palace have got there and the manager that they've brought in, he would fit into their thinking of how he plays. So I can see the Crystal Palace link, but I can also see the Everton link, because as you quite rightly pointed out, we've cried out for a player like that for quite a while now, to excite the fans, to make things happen on the pitch. We spoke about this last season. Our build-up play could be quite turgid and slow, and it was monotonous, and you could see what was going to happen before it actually happened, because we were seeing it week in, week out. Obviously, Dyche, with the players he's bringing in, is looking to try and change the setup and how we play. Hence why we've probably been linked with Jadon Philogene. Does he play every week with the players that are at Palace already? They've been there for quite a while. Same sort of players, but as I say, he will fit into their team. Does he get a game every week? Probably not. He probably doesn't at Palace. He probably doesn't at Barcelona either. Possibly he does at Ipswich, and I think he does at Everton. So I think that's what the player's thinking about now. If rumours are to be believed that Everton's bid has been accepted, he has to look where he's going to get the most football.
Yeah, it all of a sudden becomes quite exciting. This is a player, Jack Harrison's best position, and we said this when we signed him on loan last season, and people were arguing with us saying, well, he'll play on the right. The facts are, he's not a very good right winger. So by signing Jack Harrison again on loan, he can go on the left. Dwight McNeil could potentially go through the middle, which allows Philogene to go on the right. We've obviously also signed Lilliman and Dye, which is another player that gives us options through the middle. It's all of a sudden exciting. The one thing I semi don't get out of all of this is why sign Harrison again if we were going to sign another winger. But I'm not complaining. I'm not sitting here complaining, because I know he's versatile. He can play left side and right side, so I don't have an issue with it. I
think it's squad size, isn't it? Because I think last season, we sat together at the match, and we also done watch-alongs, and we looked at the bench who we could bring on, and we struggled for them sort of players who could come on and have an impact and make a difference in the game. Whereas, with Harrison, we bring Philogene in, and as you say, Harrison doesn't play every week, or you could put McNeil in the middle and put Harrison and Philogene on the wings. It's options, and it's positive options that you've got on the bench, players who can come on and change the game. So I sort of see why he's brought Harrison in, but we've also been linked with Jadon Philogene.
Yeah, and I get that, because we are going to win all of the competitions next season, all the domestic cups. We are going to win, so we're going to need squad rotation. John, I just want to mention then pre-season, because the players have come back, and I actually wanted to start the video on that, but John decided to go on a tangent about Philogene. I mean, he's so excited he can't contain himself, which is great. Look at the smile on his fat, ugly face. The players are in, back through Dyche days and fitness tests and all sorts. But I tell you what I noticed pretty much straight away was how all the players were engaging with each other, how they were smiling, how they were glad to be back. And look, I know people read into that and they'll be like, well, some of them are friends, some of them are see each other as work colleagues. They've got to have a good relationship. But it is nice when you see a harmonious environment. Do you get what I'm saying? It's encouraging going forward.
I think the players, we finished the season well. We obviously stayed up again. The players have probably had time to think about where they would have finished without the 2 point deductions, and without them 2 points deductions, listen, it is what it is. It was an all right season compared to the last few years. It was all right. So the players have gone away, recharged the batteries, had a bit of sun, time with the families, and they've come back, and we could see the way the players fought for each other last season when they had to, that it was a good environment to be in. The players worked for each other, they pulled together, they listened to the manager got it, the players got it, what they had to do. Now they've come in, last season's behind them, it's the last season at Goodison, so they should all be excited to be part of that. And they've come in, and as you quite rightly say, there's players still missing on international duty, but the players who have come back, it looks like they were happy to return to work today and get back with the lads. And listen, they've got to do the fitness test, which can be quite boring, and they've still got Dice Day to go. But you know yourself, you've played at a good level. Once them fitness tests are out the way, it's about getting on the grass as quick as you can with the ball. And that's what players look forward to. So players do miss that, when the season ends and they're not kicking a ball around and they're not seeing the teammates, they do miss that. It's like anything, it's good to be back. And it's, as I said before, it's good to be back in a good environment. And I think that's what Finch Farm is at the minute.
Yeah, the video that epitomised that for me was Kevin Thurwell this morning. He's there, he's waiting for the players, he's shaking their hands as they're walking in. He's looking like, by all intensive purposes, one of the lads. And that was so nice to think that actually this is a director of football. Because me and you had some doubts about Kevin Thurwell, and I certainly had up until this transfer window. And at the minute, look, it's still very early on. I mean, I'm happy with the players we've signed so far, and the players we've been linked with. But I haven't been with all of his players in the past. I still don't to this day understand Mulpay. I haven't. I didn't really. I wasn't a big fan of Beto at the time, etc., etc. But this summer, it's almost like he's been able to do something different, put his own stamp on it, and he seems more engaged. He also was the guy that was doing the program notes as well at the end of last season, talking about a plan, talking about a strategy, talking about doing things going forward. And he was mentioned that it was going to be difficult in the market and players would be sold. Well, as of right now, all of the players that we thought could be sold are still at Everton Football Club. Pickford, Branthwaite, Onana, Calvert-Lewin, they're all still at Everton. And they all, Onana and Branthwaite, obviously, they've been on international duty. Pickford's obviously away on international duty. But Calvert-Lewin come back today, big smile on his face, new style of haircut. And you just sit there and think, I wonder if Calvert-Lewin is looking at this and going, yeah, maybe I should stay at Everton. Maybe I should sign that deal. Maybe this is the right move for me. The whole situation is much more positive. And I'm sitting here, and I'm sitting here as a Blue for the first time in a long time, genuinely excited about the season ahead. The only disappointment about this season so far is the shirt, in my opinion, because I'm not a big fan of it. But everything else, I'm infused about. I'm excited about. I can't wait to get to Goodison, and it's been a long, long time since I've felt like that.
I think Kevin Thurwell's come into this pre-season now, and we know the changes going on, and behind the scenes, and there's a new owner coming in, and I'm not going to say the shackles are off for Kevin Thurwell, because obviously we still can't go out, and we've reiterated on that and splashed the cash. But he seems to have a bit more freedom of what he's been allowed to do. And you mentioned Calvert-Lewin and Onana, and Branthwaite is still there. Well, obviously, we didn't have to sell anyone by the 30th of June because the deals we did do by obviously letting Dobbin go and bringing bits of money in here and there and saving the wages on them sort of players just proves that we massively went over the PSR threshold. So, obviously, we haven't got to sell them players. So the only way them players go now is if they ask for a move. But if clubs offer what them players are really worth, and if they don't, we're not in a position where we have to sell now because the cut-off's come and gone. It's gone. So he's obviously smiling about the fact that he's got them players still at the club. He's smiling at the fact that he's brought young talent in. And he knows in the not too distant future, the club's going to have new owners and new people behind the scenes, new boards of directors who obviously will speak to him. They probably already spoke to him. That could be that could be going towards how he feels and how he looks excited and happy to see the players, because he's probably had discussions with the people who are going to be coming into the club. The director of football, he's got to have had. So obviously seeing him like that, he's confident and he doesn't feel as under pressure now. And he's probably going into work enjoying his job more now, because it doesn't feel like the world and the weight of the world is on his shoulders. Same as Sean Dyche, with the brand new season, brand new start. And Kevin Thelwell's probably feeling that as well. And I think it's all down to the changes that are going on, probably in the next month, I'd say, probably another month. One more thing that you want to touch on, I was thinking about this today. I know you said you're not in love about the kit, and regardless whether you like the kit or not, I think it's an absolute disgrace that the kit's still not on sale. Now, we go on holiday on Monday, and every year when we go away, Frankie always travels wherever we're going to with that new kit on, the new top on. I think it's an absolute disgrace that the kit's not out, because the deal with Hummel finished on the 30th of June. So that kit should have been on the shelves on the 1st of July. It's still not on sale. We've all seen it. We know what it looks like. I'm not bothered what it looks like. It's the fact of the matter that you still can't go and buy Everton shirts, but the players are training in the new training gear. But yet we can't buy a sock. We can't buy anything. And I think it's an absolute disgrace. And this is where you go on about, and I said this the other week, about the commercial side of it needs to be better with the new owners, because obviously the people who are in charge now are not doing things right. That kit should be on sale. 1st of July, that kit should have been out ready to buy. Buy it online, go in the shop, nothing. We haven't even had a date. And for me, I think that's an absolute disgrace.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. And the other thing to that, and the other caveat to that is, there doesn't appear to be a reason why.
No.
We did the charity game, which was 4 weeks ago now, I think, something like that. And different dates were muted. One was the 1st of July that this new kit would be out, and the other date was the 15th of July. Now I don't know what date it is today.
Well, so the 15th of July is Monday. That's
next Monday. So
the day we go away,
so my reckoning is it will be available on Monday at 9 o'clock in the morning. That's what I think will happen. But the point of the fact of the matter is, why does it have to be the middle of July? The season starts. We actually, if I'm not mistaken, when are we playing Sligo?
So we play Sligo. So I go on holiday on Monday. We play on the Friday.
Before or after?
17th we play Sligo. So according to Frankie, we play Sligo on the Wednesday, after 2 days after I go on holiday. So I thought it was the Friday.
So the point I'm making is, does nobody potentially that's going to be able to get that shirt, or there's going to be very few going into the pre-season? I don't get it. I don't get the delay, especially when it's the last season at Goodison. If they'd have done something special for the shirts, I would have expected that the demand would have been significantly higher than normal. And I'm just surprised. I'm surprised the home kit doesn't have any, homage to Goodison Park, and I'm surprised that it's not on sale yet. But all of this stuff is the sort of stuff that Dan Friedkin will sort out, by the way. Him and his son will sort this out. And I'll give you some examples of this. Right. At Roma, this Dan Friedkin guy wasn't happy with a lot of the stuff. He wasn't happy with a lot of stuff there. This was a guy that he changed the catering. He changed the match day experience. He changed he changed so much about that club, Roma, because they share the stadium with Lazio and things. He went in. He said, Roma don't make enough money. We need to sort out our commercial revenues, ventures, opportunities. They've just doubled their commercial revenue, and the whole match day experience has changed. Now, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know, because it's very much tailored towards making money. However, We're going into a new stadium. Whether people like it or not, I don't massively like it, but whether people like it or not, that stadium will have to have an element of tourist. It will have to, whether that is available seats for tourists, which Everton do the package now, but they've got to make themselves bigger and branded and special, and what attracts people to Bramley Moor Dock. And things like the shirt coming out early is going to be absolutely imperative, because people will say, right, we're going to go to England in June, July, the start of the summer. We're going to go and do the stadium tours in Liverpool. We're going to come off the cruise ships. We're going to do all of this stuff, but they're not going to be able to pick up a shirt on the way out. It's little things like that that need to be fixed, in my opinion. And I hope and expect that Dan Friedkin will do that. I mean, this guy was so unhappy with the Roma food that they did. I swear I heard of a story that he literally bought in different catering companies, got them to tender, as in like taste tests and match day experiences from other clubs. This guy, minute detail. Everton will be micromanaged within an inch of its life, and that's not a bad thing from the mess that we've been in. It's exciting. So I just think commercially we clearly need to fix up, and what you've just alluded to there, John, is absolutely spot on.
But you say whether people like it or not. At the end of the day, Michael, football's a business, and whether you like it or not, it is. It's not what it was in the 80s and the 90s. It's not like that anymore. It's a money-making machine now. Now, Everton haven't been run like a business for years and years and years. So, as you quite rightly say, Dan Friedkin's going to come in, and if he has to make massive changes, that makes Everton a more attractive business, but also the top and bottom of it is makes the club more money, gets the shirts out early, gets the income off the shirts, make the food, the food that you can get around the ground better. As you quite rightly say, make it a tourist attraction. I don't like that, because we see it. I work on the taxis. I see it when I drive past Anfield, and how many tourists are outside, different colours of people, different, complexities, whatever you want to call it, Chinese, what have you. They're only like that because they've been successful. That's the only reason why they have a global fan base. Same as Man United, it's global on success. Now, whether you like it or not, and whether Everton fans like it or not, if Everton do become successful, and listen, I'm not going to say we're going to have as many tourists as Liverpool and Man United, but if we're successful and we start winning things on the pitch, we will become a tourist attraction. Is it a bad thing? In a way, yeah, because it stops the locals also having as good as opportunity to get tickets. But it means we've been successful, and I'll take success any day of the week, for the simple fact of the matter, it's been that long since we've had it. We need to be run like a business. The right people need to be on the board. He needs to come in and make the massive changes that we all know need to be made for this business that it's going to be successful and to make money. And at the end of the day, if it's doing that, then the success is happening on the pitch as well. And that's what we all want.
Can you not hear, mate? The mute button works. That's brilliant, Andy. So I was testing it. Yeah, look, that's exactly what we need. We need Everton to essentially be on a global scale, which is what you're saying, basically. We need global interest. We need Everton to become the club that we want them to be, which is this absolute behemoth, massive football team, whilst also keeping that local loving feel, and that in my opinion is carrying the history from Goodison Park. And I still, to this day, and I will still happily argue with anyone, I still think the stadium's too small. I know people say it'll go up to 62,888, but I still think it's too small for a new purpose-built venue. I just think it's too small. Anyway, last thing I wanted to mention just before you go, John. Obviously, the players are back in training. They're doing all that fitness work, all the ball work. They look all excited. They look all happy. There's new players coming in. It's exciting. But how excited are you about the prospect of having players like Lilliman and Dye, Jaden Philogene, even Dwight McNeil, picking up the ball on the turn and run it with it?
Well, we spoke about this, and I'm very excited. I was especially excited about Ndai, and I think we spoke about that. But again, it's whether Dyche can do that, and we have spoke about that, whether he can mould the team to play like that. I hope he can, because he deserves time after what he gave us last season. We've spoke about that as well. But if we can get these players over the line, like the Philogene and all that, and other players we've been linked with, Ndidi, he's still not signed for another club, so there's probably hope there as well. If we keep Calvert-Lewin, I'm not too fussed, but if he goes, we probably need to bring another striker in. Defensively, we've looked solid for a while. We've got a keeper in the Euros, who for me is the best English keeper out there, even though he gets a lot of shit. For what reason, I don't know. But it is exciting, because if we can bring these attacking players in and get them on the ball and get the crowd excited and score more goals, because we also know if we can keep Branthwaite, which God praying we can, we have a good defensive record. I think we had the second best in the league last season. So we know we can, So we know we can defend under Dyche. It's whether he can get them attacking players and then players who will excite the crowd to sort of mix it, so we can defend, but also get the crowds off the seats. Now, as I say, I hope he can, but I am excited because the players who we've brought in compared to seasons gone by, they're exciting players. They will play on the front foot. These players who we've brought in don't know any other way. They don't know any other way how to play. They will pick the ball up. They will create chances. We need more goals from them. We know that, because our strikers don't score enough goals. We spoke about this. Calvert-Lewin averages 5 goals a season over 8 years. Not enough if you want to push on. You can't count on Beto. We haven't seen enough of Chimiti. So we need Ndai to chip in with goals. If Philogene comes in, we need him to chip in goals. Jack Harrison needs to start scoring more.
But how exciting is it, the fact that when you look at this Everton team now, we've got experience at this moment in time in all of the right positions, I would argue. Goalkeeper, experienced. Centre-half in Tarkowski, experienced. Centre midfielder in the Drissagana guy, experienced. Up front, Calvert-Lewin, experienced. Whether he scores enough, but he's experienced. But then you've got this smattering of younger players which are coming through. And, whether Anana's going to be there in August, who knows? But at the minute, you've got Branthwaite, young. Mikalenko, young. Anana, young. Potentially Philogene, young. Lilliman Ndai, still young. These players, Chimiti, still young. These young group of players, they're coming. They've got good reputations. I mean, Mikalenko's, in my opinion, and this might, but in terms of defensively, he's one of the best one-on-one defenders in the league. He really is. He doesn't get forward a lot, but he very rarely gets beaten. Very rarely gets beaten. Branthwaite is unbelievable. Anana, he's looked great in the Euros, but maybe at Everton it doesn't quite fit him. But with quicker players around him who are going to carry the ball, then these Hollywood balls that Anana plays from the centre of midfield out to the left and the right, well, actually, maybe there's going to be a player to control them and take people on with. It just all of a sudden we look different, and then you've got players like Chimiti, who, in my opinion, probably deserves more of a chance than Beto at this point, because I wasn't blown away by Beto last season, I must say. I just feel good even James Garner, I just feel that these young players around the team, what a time to be a toffee.
I think when you look at a lot of the successful teams, and listen, I'm not saying they're ever going to be successful, we're going to win stuff, but we want to see improvement, and we don't want to fight relegation. That's what it's going to be for the next couple of years, just improvement. But when you look at other teams who are successful, they have youth, but they also have experience as well. Now, I remember a couple of years ago, Everton didn't really have much youth coming through, but we had experience there, so there wasn't much of a mix. Now, you're quite right with what you say. There's experience, there's a bit of age, but there's young players coming through. But also, this also helps the bench that we'll have as well, Michael, because we'll probably have a bit of experience to come on the bench if you've got to close games out. But we'll also have young talent to come on who will lift the fans, lift the team, excite the crowd, and get them off their seats if we need to chase the game to get a goal. So it's not just the first 11 that looks better. It's the squad-wise that'll look better with experience and youth and players that can come on and make a difference, because we haven't really had that.
Players like Decore, for example, because, with Lilliman and Dye playing, Decore will be on the bench. I mean, he was almost, at one point last season, he was our best player. So there is players in that Everton team that can make a difference, and they will be on the bench. And that's what excites me. The fact that this Everton team, all of a sudden, I feel like we've got options. We've got different ways of playing. And we've got players that will play off Calvert-Lewin up front. Or we've got players that carry the ball on the counter-attack. It's exciting.
The difference is, Michael, just to finish the video, is when you look at some of the players, we knew whether they performed crap one week, they were still going to get picked the next week, because we had nothing to come in and replace them. They knew their name was going to be on the team sheet. Now, if we can carry on bringing a couple of youth players in and probably bring a bit more experience in, but bring another 3-4 players in if we can, if we're allowed to, their places in the team aren't a given. So they're going to have to fight for it, which is good for squad. They know they're going to have to fight for that place, fight for that shirt, fight to be in that 11 week in, week out. Because if they're not, there's players there to come in and replace them. We didn't have that. Now we will have.
Nailed it. Guys, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. John, thank you for your time this evening. It's been a good video, late video upload, but it's good video. And make sure you all sort of strap in for the games. Me and John are going to have a discussion about watch-alongs and things for pre-season, aren't we, John? So we'll have a little chat about that. But yeah, guys, apart from that, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, press the bell for notifications, make sure you follow us on all the socials, Facebook, Instagram, you name it, we're there. And we'll see you soon. Where did you just say?
Tinder. Cheers, folks.